Okay, this video is going to go over the income portion of your budget, the ways that you'll make money with your project or your product or your service. So the goals for this video will be how to project that income. That's the most challenging part, but I have some interesting ideas that should help. How to enter the income. That'll be very similar to entering the expenses from the previous video, as will setting up the Excel function since we did that on the last video. I won't take as much time explaining it. You'll see that it's very similar, and then we'll create a total income cell once we have all that worked out. So let's start with how to project the income, and this can be very challenging. In fact, prior to this year, this was the most challenging part of the budget. I think it will actually be a bit easier uh, with some AI assistance this year. So I'll talk about that in a minute. So for example, this river interceptor, if I'm going to create one of these interceptors, it's going to cost a lot of money, obviously, probably a lot more than I've projected. And then how am I going to make money? I'm collecting plastic trash, which nobody wants, which is why it's in the river in the first place. And yes, I can recycle it. And yes, maybe it's got some value, although I doubt it. So how am I going to make money? So it just depends on your project. If I look at this cane toad spray project, this is an example of a product that will be sold. So as long as you sell your 500 toad buster cane toad sprays for more money than it takes you to produce them, you'll have some profit. So that's straightforward. The lionfish traps idea, that was also a little bit more straightforward as far as generating income because they're going to sell tacos. You can see that they're projecting to sell 104,000 tacos at $5 per taco. So that's $500,000 plus in income. And so sometimes that income part is more straightforward. Sometimes it's a little trickier. If you look at this Muscovy duck project, they've got income like hotel stay per duck, $15 for a stay in a hotel for each duck. Without the context or hearing that presentation again, it's hard for me to remember exactly what that entails or how they come up with that. But if they're going to have 20 hotel stays, that's $300 income. They're going to sell duck meat at $10 a pound. They're expecting to sell 60 pounds. So that should actually be $600. This will sort of show you where they lost some points on this budget because see they don't have the functions here. This should be 600. They probably entered the quantity without setting up the function. But at this point though, I'm just trying to show you how to come up with ideas for income. But on some budgets, like for example, this budget that I have in mind for creating this river interceptor is very difficult to figure out how am I going to make money. And so I went to ChatGPT again, 3.5, the version that you have. And I said, I'm pretending that I'll create a single river interceptor of the type used by the oceancleanup.com. As soon as I tell AI that, it knows what I'm talking about. To collect plastic trash from a local river. This will be expensive to create. Even a single system of this type, how could I generate income to pay for the project? And then it came up with, I wasn't surprised, lots and lots of ideas. And so this is, again, in my opinion, a good use of AI to brainstorm ideas. And then from those ideas, you sort of do the research from there. One of the best ideas I saw here was where is it? Government grants, because I think local governments, what all governments, but especially local governments, would be interested in cleaning up their area rivers. And so I had a follow-up question for AI. I said, can you suggest some real government grants that I could seek to use for this? And it gave me a bunch of ideas. One of them was state-specific grants. And so I asked, is there a Florida-specific grant? And it listed many. Now, at this point, if I were really doing this, I would start to research some of these grants, find some websites that describe how much money how much money is available in those grants, and I could start to list some of those things as income. So let's just, as an example, let me put one of the ones that I found. Florida Water Management District grant. Wat, Florida Water Management District grant. I'm going to resize this column. I went to the Florida Water Management District website and I found a project list that when I clicked on it, gave me this PDF file. Now, I looked through these projects to see if I saw something similar to my proposed project, and I did not. But that's what you would spend some time doing. Try to find a realistic, real world source of income. And this one may not have panned out, but just imagine that it did. I can, I'm going to use this instead. I'm going to copy that link, and then I'm going to go to my budget that I was showing you, and I had entered a comment that I didn't like, so I'm going to enter a more realistic comment, new comment, and put the PDF, the URL to the PDF, so that my project partners, my group mates, and my investors, and anybody else looking at this can now get that information on their own from my budget. So let's say it's a $1,000 grant, and I'm projecting that I will apply for and earn that $1,000 grant. Maybe you do a GoFundMe, a crowdfunding campaign like GoFundMe or some other crowdfunding source, initial campaign. So people that are interested in cleaning up plastic waste will contribute. Projected I would earn $8,500 from that. And that's quantity one, because I'm going to have one campaign. Some other, I projected I would have a private sponsor that would contribute $2,000 to this effort. One person doing that. And then I also imagined repurpose plastic into birdhouses. And so you could sell those birdhouses for $9.95, for example. And if I project, I will sell conservatively 2,500 birdhouses. So this is just an example of how you can create or project or predict sources of income. The total now the Excel functions will work very similar to the functions for expenses. Each total will be equal to the amount of income multiplied by, again, Shift 8 for the asterisk, the quantity. So I earned $1,000 grant, so that's $1,000. If I found a second grant, it would update it to $2,000. And I want that same function for all of my totals. We see that the repurposing the plastic into birdhouses earns the most money, 24,000. And when I look at my expenses, I can see that that alone would pay for the interceptor. Again, probably not extremely realistic, but just as a starting point or as an example. The balance will be similar to the expenses. The first balance will equal this first total. The next balance will equal the previous balance plus this total from the GoFundMe campaign. And then I will copy that function down to these cells, and that will give me a running balance for my income sources. To finish this up, we're going to, I think it makes sense to align it with total expenses. I'm going to merge and center these cells and label this total income. And the cell to the right of that will reference this total balance, which is the sum of all the totals. Now I have total income and total expenses, and we will find the difference in the next video. But we see that we have the information now to tell that we're already making money with this project. Let me go back to let's make sure we've accomplished all of our goals. We projected income, we entered income, went over Excel functions again briefly, and created the total income cell. Okay, I think at this point we have the expenses and the income, at least a framework for how to enter those in your budget setup and how to set up Excel functions. And don't forget to include as many cell comments as possible by right-clicking on the cell and entering URLs that you found or comments to your teammates or your investors. If you have any questions, give me an email. Thanks.